What about when you're looking at organising your gigs? Like, so where do I start? I want to do a gig. I got my album, or I got my mixtape, or I got something coming out, and I want to, I'm thinking of a venue or a place to go. How do you get started? Do you just start ringing? Do you send the emails, or if you're unknown, where would you start? What's a good starting point?
If you're unknown, I think for bands that are putting on gigs and they don't have a very big fan base, you're relying on your friends and your family for a start, which can be a bit painful week after week when you're Facebooking all your friends to come to your show again and they saw you last Wednesday night.
And they'll fade out after a couple of weeks.
Eventually you'll see them, your mum and dad will stop coming as well. But that's, you just got to keep playing the shows, and you'll play some shows to nobody, it's guaranteed, but it's just part of it, and one person might walk past the bar or wherever you're playing and they'll go, I like that band, you've got an instant fan. And I think it's just, that's how you do it. Just show by show by show, you pick up fans, and yeah.
I guess you need to get to know either venue owners or bookers or whatever, because one of the really key ways for especially rock bands to start is to play club nights, where people are just going to turn up no matter who's playing, and you have a kind of captive audience. And so to get to play those, though, you have to get to talk to the person, and getting to talk to the person can be quite difficult. If they've never heard of you, you really need to go to them with a song, or some songs on MySpace, even a live video. I know when the first time we toured Australia, we were on the back of another band, so nobody cared who we were, and that was fine. We didn't have to do any promotion. But the second time, venues wanted you to tell them how many songs you had on the radio, and could they see a video of your live show, and they wanted 20 minutes. So you need to demonstrate something to those people, and find out their names, their phone numbers, and call them, because you can't just hope, I'm going to send them a message on MySpace, oh, we want a gig. It's just not going to happen that way.
I guess with a venue like this, it's really good because there's lots of artists and bands always hanging out here, so you can talk to them and say, oh, do you have any shows coming up? Can I play, the opening spot? Can you just give me 15 minutes for my band? I mean, that's always really good. And one important thing to remember is when you're playing a show and there's 10 people in the audience, don't treat it like a band practice. I know some bands have that mentality about it, and the way I see it, if you play the best show every single time, even if there's 5 or 10 people there, there's going to be one person, like you said, that's going to be like, wow, they're amazing, and they're going to tell their friends, and you're going to tell their friends. So just always make sure you're playing, the best you can, and not give up. It's like, oh, I hope there's only 5 people watching. So it's always really good to play good.
So do you think that getting to know the right people, or I'm just trying to think from, there might be a lot of guys in here who are straight from high school, or, they know they want to get out there, they want to have those live performance opportunities, but it sounds like unless they if they haven't got no fan base, no one's going to listen to them anyway. So how can you get out there? What's the best way to attack or to promote themselves, or how should they come across to get to those right people? Where can they find the right people?
Networking is really important, and just talking to other bands and say, hey, my band's like this, it's similar to these bands. And just ask to see if you can for them to put you on their show. I mean, I've done that to some bands where I've kind of really gone out on a limb. I don't really know them that well, and I've only heard one song, and they've surprised me, or they've done really well. You just need the 1 or 2 shows to get you there, then you can kind of go from there. But just talk to people and email people, and introduce yourself at shows. It's always really good when someone comes up to you personally and talks, because you remember that person more so than an email. Yeah.
I think one of the things is, where's I going with this? No, I had an idea. That's what it is. Is that because bands on stage can be really outgoing, you kind of assume, oh, they must be, really sociable people off stage, and it turns out actually no, they're really shy, but they force themselves to make contact with people. And I don't think it's necessarily about knowing the right people, but about knowing people. That other bands, that you say, okay, we're going to play this gig with this other band. I can't tell you how many bands I've played with, and nobody in the band came and talked to me. when we were organising the gig and we put them on the bill, like as you know, trying them out because they message us on MySpace. And then they look at their shoes and they leave straight after they play, and they they don't talk, and and I bet they go away thinking that was really great, but I didn't get to know them at all, and I'm not going to ask them to play another gig because they didn't even try and talk, and
say thank you.
Or anything.
Say hi, I'm blah blah blah.
Yeah, I think there's in terms of networking with the right people are actually watching anyway. So if you promoters, venues, they've all got their fingers on the pulse. And the thing about the music industry is that sales and radio play and touring and album sales, they all go hand in hand. So if you are writing songs, you're playing them live well, you're recording them well, they're getting played on radio, and all that information is collated. Promoters are looking at that stuff regularly, labels are looking at that stuff regularly. So if you're doing, it's hard because there's 500 million other bands doing it as well in the world, but if you're doing the things right, eventually the people you need to be networking with will start contacting you anyway, if you're writing and performing how you should be. That's the 1% of bands that are actually doing that, so that's where it gets quite difficult. But Rianne's put out a chart, I think it's every Monday, Tuesday, that you can go online and you'll see what the top 40 singles are, top 40 album sales, airplay, and most of those bands that you see will be the ones touring, either international or local. And that's a good benchmark. It's hard to get there, but I think firstly you work on your live show, then you work on the recordings, and then that's where management comes in. You get guys that plug for you. There's all these different people that do jobs for the band to get you onto radio, to get you onto music television. It's like, it really is a business, and that's where management, having a manager for your band is quite helpful as well. If you're not that way inclined, a lot of bands are self-managed, but management who understand how the whole thing works and what you should be doing, giving you a plan. It's like, man, the detail you can get into if you really want to. And it's got nothing to do with music as such as, playing.
And I think a lot of people don't understand that it's such a big machine, the whole music industry, and it's a lot bigger than just you as the artist and great songs. Obviously it always starts with great songs, great live show, but as it branches out and you want to get further and further, you need those support people backing you.